How's it going, everybody? Happy Friday, and welcome to today's edition of Yesterday in Baseball. My name is Luke. It's October the 17th, and we've got plenty of baseball to talk with you guys. We have a big game from LA to talk about, and a big game from Seattle. I mean, the Jays kind of look unbeatable right now, and if I had to guess, they're the best team to take down the Dodgers right now, who are all but locked into the World Series at this point, as it seems. We had old man Max getting out there and doing it on the same day you had the icy hot bowl with Aaron Rodgers and Joe Flacco. So big day for the 40-plus-year-olds, taking down all these youngsters, these low 20-year-olds. But yeah, without further ado, we'll kick it out to LA and get into our first recap and hop into the action. Game 3 from Los Angeles was an interesting one as the Dodgers put the screws to the Brewers and won 3-1 and are now one win away from the World Series. We kicked off action in the bottom of the first as Shohei Ohtani got it going by hitting a leadoff triple. Looks like that BP worked for him. He set the table for an RBI double for Mookie Betts, who made it 1-0. The Brewers, after recording one out, pulled Aaron Ashby, their opener, and put in Jacob Mizorowski for some bulk innings. The pitching hasn't exactly been the problem for the Brewers in this series, but it still leaves me scratching my head every single time. In the top of the second inning, the Brewers fought back quickly by hitting a triple of their own and then tying it on a Jake Bauers RBI single to even things at 1. That's where things stood as Glasnow was pulled after 5.2 as he only gave up 1 run, striking out 8. The Miz was dealing for the Brewers. It's almost like he should have been out there to begin the game, but hey, I'm just a guy. In the 6th inning, the Dodgers had 2 on and nobody out and drove in a run from a Tommy Edman RBI single to make it 2-1. The Dodgers added another run with 2 outs as Brewers reliever Abner Uribe threw it away on a pickoff attempt to first base, letting the Dodgers get that 3rd run. Interesting choice there with 2 outs, and it just hasn't really looked like that fundamental baseball we know and love from the Brewers. Then Milwaukee had another golden opportunity in the 7th inning as they had a leadoff double but couldn't cash in. Jackson Trio left the game with an apparent hamstring injury in his crucial 2-out at bat in this inning. Didn't look too good. It looked like it locked up on him or cramped or something. He had to come out of the game. That was essentially it for the Brewers. They didn't have a lot of chances. Their offense has just really looked really rough. And I mean, that Dodgers pitching staff is great, but still not great. Roki Sasaki came in to close it out in the 9th and was lights out once again. The Dodgers bullpen pieced it together to get the 3-1 victory and take a 3-0 series lead. Next up, we have Toronto at Seattle, Game 4 of the ALCS. And it was another offensive outburst and dominant pitching performance from the Blue Jays, doing it on both sides of the ball. They won 8-2 over the Mariners. Like I said, much like the night before, Seattle struck first as Josh Naylor crushed a solo shot in the 2nd inning to put the Mariners up 1-0. The Jays responded quickly, though, as another Andres Jimenez homer made it 2-1. It's been a big couple of days with a big couple of homers for Andres Jimenez, who only hit 7 homers all year but has 2 in the last 2 days. And then from there, as the inning went on, Luis Castillo loaded the bases for the Jays and was pulled for Gabe Spear, who walked in a run to make it 3-1 Toronto. As the Jays did in Game 3, they stacked good innings. As the 4th inning, they had a George Springer RBI double to make it 4-1. Then a wild pitch allowed him to score, making it 5-1. Max Scherzer was in his prime form, striking out guys on the mound and being a psycho while doing it. John Schneider tried to pull him and had a heated mound visit with him, and it changed his mind. Scherzer convinced him. And Schneider, I really like this quote from him. He said, "There's numbers, there's projections, there's strategy, and then there's people. I was trusting people." And I love hearing that from him because the human aspect of managing in the game often gets lost in the numbers. So going out and trusting your guy and showing you have confidence in him is going to work wonders for you and every other member on that team, seeing that your manager has a trust in you. So that was a big decision from him, and it worked out. Scherzer kept on cooking. In the 6th inning, though, it looked like the Mariners might chip away as Geno Suarez hit an RBI single to make it 5-2, but Naylor got thrown out at 3rd, ending that threat. But Scherzer finally got pulled in this inning, going 5.2, giving up 2 runs on 3 hits. Just awesome vintage stuff from him. And a Vlad Guerrero Jr. homer and an Andres Jimenez RBI single gave them some insurance runs, making it 8-2, and Sir Anthony Dominguez closed it out, helping the Jays even the series 2-2 and winning 8-2. Now we've got our kind of general ball talk discussion from these games. And yeah, the one thing I just have not been a fan of is the Brewers managing. And I get it that they don't have the resources. You don't exactly have the guys like a Shohei Ohtani that can go up and just crush anyone. And they don't have the pitching depth. But I just can't get behind a lot of it. And I've seen it in the past few years with my Cardinals team and whatnot. It's just kind of blindly following the numbers, I guess, and that's the best way to put it. In the modern managing, I get they have injuries too and everything, but it just seems too hands-on. And despite all these moves for pinch hitters left and right, and the opener just to face Ohtani, and having good starters, but just taking them out of their natural environment of starting the game and using them out of the pen in those biggest games of the year, it just seems like micromanaging to me, and kind of the opposite of like why I was praising John Schneider of the Blue Jays. Because like I said, these guys, especially pitchers and starting pitchers, are kind of creatures of habit. They have their routines, they like it, and that's what they stick to. And then you're like, oh, but we're going to bring you in with an out in the first inning after giving up a run. And I'm sure that throws off your whole kind of thing. And I mean, Mizorowski, he did great. He's a young guy, and he went out there and performed. But there's no reason he can't go out there and start the game. Show him you have the faith to face Ohtani, who's been scuffling. Don't put out a reliever that's pitched in almost every game of this postseason. And he's the one that gives up the runs, the specialist, quote unquote, you know? So that's just my gripe. I mean, that and all the pinch hitters and stuff. I get that there's matchups and there's advantages, but again, like Schneider said, there's human aspects to this game that you need to account for. Not everything is a number, and you got to take that into account. And I know he is, and he's not an idiot, like 100%. Pat Murphy, great manager, but I just don't agree with all these decisions, and I'm sure some of them come from the front office and whatnot, but it just seems too hands-on, and it's not getting the results you want. And again, they're hitting. They have to get it done. They have Chiriot injured and all that, but I'm sure it's a dumb rant because, like I said, the hitting is their main problem, but I think it kind of stems to a larger thing of, you know, seeing guys pinch hit for all the time and this, that, and not having a faith in your pitchers, especially like Quintana, who's been doing it for years. Like, just let them start the game. I don't know. So that's my old man on a soapbox yelling at a cloud rant, but we'll move on. As the Brewers are down 3-0 in this series, let's take a moment to talk about the one team that's actually ever completed a comeback down 3-0. And that is the 2004 ALCS with the Red Sox over the Yankees. Red Sox were down 3-0 in that series, then had a pair of walk-offs, and then had the Kurt Schilling bloody sock game in Game 6, and then ran away with it in Game 7. So maybe we'll get some Brewers heroics here. That would be fun. I mean, in the playoffs more than anything else, I'm rooting for Game 5s and Game 7s. So let's hope to get to Game 7. And lastly, let's talk about Max Scherzer, who hadn't made an appearance in nearly 3 weeks, making his 500th career start combining regular season and postseason. Got his first pickoff in 9 years. It was like a renaissance for him. And I'm just going to merge this into, he was our player of the day for Thursday. He had 5.2 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, 4 walks. You know, I mean, you had that moment with John Schneider. He was walking out to the mounds, and, you know, Scherzer's just livid. He's like, no, I'm not. I'm fine. And, you know, I love that exchange with him and Schneider, because Schneider's like, okay, well, if you're fine, then, you know, be sure to get the job done. I'm holding this on you. And he went out and did. And just seeing that intensity from him, that's what makes him one of the most fun pitchers to watch. And we've kind of been missing that the last couple of years. He's been hurt, he's been slumping, but for him to just come out there and do it on that long of a time in between starts and appearances, and just be that sharp and shut down a team that's been hot, just hats off to him. Absolutely great game from him, and it's fun to see that vintage Scherzer, especially in the playoffs. It's awesome. All right, now we got our 2 games for tonight. Leading off at 6 o'clock Eastern Time, 3 o'clock Pacific, we have Toronto at Seattle. Game 5 from Seattle on FS1. Kevin Gausman versus Bryce Miller. In Gausman's 8 career starts in Seattle, he's got a 3.44 ERA. And in 1 outing versus the Jays this year, Miller went 5 innings, giving up 7. And then at 8:30 Eastern Time, 5:30 Pacific, The Milwaukee Brewers will be taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers for Game 4 of the NLCS on TBS. Again, per usual for the Brewers, it's TBD, and Ohtani will be starting for the Dodgers. He's never faced the Brewers as a starting pitcher, so it should be very interesting. He's got a chance to punch their ticket to the World Series again, so it should be fun, must-watch baseball once again. That's everything from Friday's show. Thank you guys so much for listening along. Again, we have Brewers facing elimination tonight and a brand new series from Seattle, so that's fun. I hope everyone enjoyed my soapbox rant about the Brewers game management. I know it's kind of silly, but I don't know. It's just something that's obviously gotten to me watching these games. I'm like, man, I don't know what exactly they're doing. But yeah, feel free to tune back into the next episode. Like, subscribe, share if you enjoy, follow along, comment if you're on Spotify. And hope to see you guys again in the next one. Thank you and have a great weekend.